Welcome to P2F Fighting. I'm James, and today we're going to talk about dummy rounds and what you can do from home with your firearm and with dummy rounds. So, first thing first, before we start even talking about anything with rounds of any kind, we got to go through the safety protocol. That's very, very important. In my house, I have my duty weapon, which is a Glock 19. And first thing I do when I'm at work, I put it in its safe. I put it in the box with the snake lock. When I come home, I stick it in the safe with the snake lock on it. That's how you do things. Also, even when I'm shooting a video like this, you always want to make sure that since I'm talking about dummy rounds and all your stuff is usually together, you want to make sure that all your mags, all your live ones, are not with your dummy one, okay? So this is all my live fire right here. I'm talking about dummy rounds. I obviously don't want to look at the video and then put a live mag into the gun. That would be absolutely stupid and extremely dangerous. So all of these have to go out of sight. So get rid of your live fire and have just your dummy rounds. Now, for the sake of just talking to people who may not know the difference between what a dummy round looks like and what a live bullet looks like, I will have one round just to show you. So let me pop one of these out. Okay, a dummy round is plastic and metal. And usually a dummy round is a strange color. This one's fluorescent, OSHA colored, yellow or green, or it's OSHA color. I call them OSHA because of the color of OSHA stuff. But there's no powder, obviously, doesn't fire. This, on the other hand, is a hollow point. This absolutely will fire and will kill someone. There is powder and there is a hollow point. Now, look at the two. There's a clear difference between these two, okay? Dummy round, live round. Live round is going in the living room somewhere, okay? Not near me. Now, all my live fire is over here out of sight or in the living room on the floor somewhere away from this camera and away from my gun completely. So that's the first thing you want to do, is get all that out the way. Second thing you want to do is make sure when you're dealing with a firearm that it's clear. So just like that, rack your slide. I keep mine back just for the safety of the person to make sure that's clear. Stick your finger in there, make sure there's no bullet, and look right through it. That way you know it's all good. Make sure your gun is clear. Always make sure your gun is clear. If you ever train with somebody else and they hand you a firearm, do it. Do that, rack it, make sure it's clear at all times. You'll see me do this a million times in a video. Anytime I pick it up and it's together like that, you want to make sure that there's nothing in there. So those are the two large safety issues that you have to deal with. By the way, I learned anything that I'm going to show you and what I just showed you from my bosses at my job who are certified gun instructors and certified gun safety instructors. It's really great to have them there. I didn't go to a secondhand place to do a qualification where I paid money and went there and then I just called and left. I have people around me who are constantly teaching us about gun safety and gun training. So I'm not an expert, they're the expert, but you're gonna go on my journey with me as I learn more and more about firearms. All right, so because I do security, and anyone who does security or law enforcement, whenever I do home exercises, dry fire exercises, or dummy round things, I always do them with my holster on, with my duty belt on. So now a lot of people have a CCW and it's concealed. Put it on. Even when you're just hanging around your house and you want to do some dry fire exercises or you want to do some stuff with the dummy rounds, put it on, because that's the best way to get realistic. And really, holster training is one way that I learned that I didn't like my original holster, that I like this one, simply because as I was holstering the weapon and I'm sitting at home watching commercials and I'm pulling and I'm holstering and I'm pulling and I'm holstering. The first holster that I had suede on the inside. So when I was trying to pull the gun out, it was because it was brand new and the pin was twisted too tight. I had to loosen it, and then I kept pulling it, and it was really hard to come out of the holster. So I ended up switching holsters. That's something you won't learn if you don't practice. If you just buy a holster and put it on and then go to qual and never shoot it, you'll never know. And then when you get in a real situation, you're gonna try to pull it and it's not gonna work. And that's bad. You want to try things. There's so many options out there. So try things out and then you'll find what works for you. So first thing that I started with was just loading rounds. This is a funny one because a regular mag, not clip, mag, a regular mag full of live fire is going to be heavier than dummy rounds. Obviously, this is just plastic and metal, but just the technique, everyone has different techniques. And so we have tools here, such as this. This one comes with my Glock. You put this on, push down, load the mag, or you can practice. I see some guys that they push down the back side, some push down the front side, but everybody has a way that they load their mags. I mean, load their bullets, right? And so what I do is I take the top one, stick it right on the top, right in front of the beginning of the groove, and just push it in. Now, it took me a long time to get here. I'm gonna tell you, as a new gun owner, the first time I had to shoot live and I was trying to load my mag, I couldn't do it. And I had the tool sitting right there, but because all the fellas who were 20-year gun owners were just popping them in real quick, my pride got to me and I was trying to load them up without any help. And when I got to the last round, I couldn't get it in, and I ended up having to ask somebody else to help me, and that was quite embarrassing. But don't be afraid to take your tool, use your tool, push it down. If you have a tool, don't let them, oops, see I dropped it, see I dropped it, no problem. But don't let them call you a sissy for using the tool. The tool is there for a reason. So push it down, load your round, you can take it back out. There you go. It's not a problem. But it's not always going to be perfect. I'm new, not an expert. That's how it goes. That's why you're on this journey with me. So loading rounds is something you can do all the time. Just put them on the table, load them, unload them, load them, unload them. Something that you can do while you're just watching TV. And make sure that you're loading dummy rounds, not live rounds. Don't do that, especially if your gun is near. It's just not, you don't need to do that. Also, something else you can do is popping your mag. This is something else that you can do a lot. You can find out where your mag release is, which mine is right here, and put it in, pop it out, put it in, pop it out. This is something that you can practice a lot. I aim up or down because I'm not trying to aim at any direction that's going to be unsafe. That's something that you should always do. If you know that there's a wall and you don't want to aim toward that wall, if there's someone on the other side of that wall, you want to aim up or down. But in my situation right now, I know there's no one around me because there's no one sharing walls. Everything is good. So one thing I also try to do, because in live fire, you're going to be aiming straight. So when you aim straight, you load it and it pops out easier. If you practice a lot like this, it's going to pop out slightly. It may not come all the way out. It may get stuck right here, then you got to pull it out. That's not really what you want to do, because if you're wearing your duty belt and you pull it, you're going to load it this way. So you want to be as realistic as you can. Also, if you're wearing a holster, you may want to put your gun in the holster and pull from the holster. So make everything as realistic as possible. So when you pull, you want to pull it and load from here, and then put it back, pull, and then put it back. And try to get down where your holster is at. Try your best to just do this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until you get a hang of where's my holster, where is it at, am I in the right area? You're going to miss sometimes, as I just did, because it's not a perfect situation. But the more you practice, the more smooth you become when you're doing it. That's very important, to be as smooth as possible, okay? Also, which I'm gonna aim this way because I see something I can aim at over there, is practicing when you pull, getting your hands correct, making sure finger off the trigger. This grip, keep it tight, don't be loose, and just aim. Bring it back, aim, bring it back, aim, or holster, pull, aim. You can practice your stance also. I'm gonna aim that way because there's something I can aim at over there. It's actually my key ring. So I'm gonna aim at my key ring because it's over there. So there's a couple ways you can do stances because I've seen different people do stances different ways. You can aim this way where your feet are apart, shoulder width apart, and you're aiming straight down, and you're pretty much just straight up and down, and you're aiming down sights like this. You know, you can do that. You can pull and aim like that. That's not how I shoot. I shoot with a foot in front in a more aggressive stance. So if I have to move, I can. And so I'll put it back and I'll pull. I'll put it back and I'll pull. And this is how I do mine. Aim down sights. Pull it back, look, out. Pull it back, look, out. Always aiming down sight. You can practice aiming in different directions. So when you pull, aim, back. You can do that. And if you have a timer at your house, if you want to get advanced and cute with it, you can get you a timer. Now understand, timers are very loud, speed timers. So you want to take some tape and put it over top of that speaker, and then you can hit that timer and it won't kill your ears. But I'm not that proficient yet to be using timers, even though they use them for quals, but I'm not that good yet to be doing all that. Also, you want to practice loading mags. So, or not loading mags, but putting them on your duty belt. One of my co-workers works for SWAT, used to work for SWAT, and I used to load my mags into my duty belt like this. Was incorrect. I used to have the lip up and the square part down. This is actually incorrect because when you go to pull it, your hand might come off of it. You have to have it this way. The lips on the bottom is faster to grab. So when you want to also have them the same direction. Don't have one up and one down. That's really bad. But the whole point is the speed of the situation. So you want to, when you pull, you want to be loading your mag at the same time that you're pulling your gun. So you want to load and you want it to be seamless. Well, it's easier to grab when the lip is down because you have something to grab right here. You can just pull it. If it's upside down, you don't have nothing to grab. You're pulling from the top. So it was his advice, pull, 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 and you practice doing that over and over. Something else you can practice from home. Now, these are just a couple things that I do. You can get real fancy with it, but sometimes you're gonna need live rounds. Like if you're doing recoil situations where you're trying to learn trigger discipline and how to work the trigger, how to get your mistakes, you might need to go to a range with some, and you mix dummy rounds with live rounds. Every couple of live rounds you put a dummy round, so when you pull, you get you pull and nothing happens. And if you're jerking to the left or right, you'll be able to know, because when you pull that next one, you'll do it even though nothing happens, and you'll be able to get your trigger discipline and your recoil management all fixed up. You can also use dummy rounds for type 2, type 3 situations, jamming and different things that happen like that. There is also something that is unbelievably important, and I'm going to run another video about this, and that's understanding when a bullet is going to end up in the chamber. Okay, this is very important. So as I was saying earlier, anytime you get a firearm, you always want to clear it. Always clear it. Right now, I'm pretty sure that there is a bullet in the chamber. I'm gonna look, and no, not one. But see, I had a mag in here. I took it out and I checked before I would have pulled the trigger at all. Now, There's definitely one in there now, but you can't tell. I picked it up earlier, there wasn't one, but I guarantee you right now, there it was right there. So, I'm gonna run another video later, but there was a situation where someone got shot because there was a bullet in the chamber. That's crazy. You always have to clear your gun at all times. Absolutely make sure that you always clear it. So even if it's dummy rounds, you practice and then you play the way you practice. So if you practice bad, you're gonna play bad. You're gonna fight bad. Any way that you actually do your real life situation is gonna be based on how you practice. So if you create bad habits in practice, you're gonna do bad habits when it's time to do it. So you have to treat firearms like it's life and death at all times. Dummy rounds or not, no rounds. Even if the gun has nothing around it, treat it like it's life or death. So always clear it. Now, one thing I learned when loading mags is that it depends on how hard you load the mag as to what happens next with the gun. So if I put it here and I slam it in, now there's a bullet in there. There's definitely a bullet in the chamber. So when I pop this out and put it down sideways, there it is. It's in there because I slammed it in. But if you put it in soft, gun didn't leave the chamber. So hit your side button, there's a bullet in there now. Guaranteed. Practice sideways unloading, there it goes right there. Super important. That right there is probably more important than anything else in my book. Now everybody else has other things they think that are important. For me, it's highly, highly important to make sure that there's no bullet in the chamber, because that's the one thing that seems to catch people off guard. They think, oh, because I popped the mag, the gun is safe. The gun is not safe. Okay, I don't think there's a bullet in the chamber right now. I don't think so. And there's not. But why do that? Why be that stupid to think that, right? Now, I come home and I want to do something with my gun. I want to clean it. I want to do something with it. I see the mag is in there. Why? I'll say, oh man, last time I used this, I didn't rack the slide. There's nothing going on in there. Yeah. And then you pop your mag and there it was. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. Be careful, because you never know. Always clear your gun all the time. Anytime you're not using your gun for duty or concealing it to go out somewhere, you come back. Before you enter an area where someone could get hurt, take your firearm and do this at all times. I put it in my box like this. When I take it to work, or when I take it anywhere that I'm gonna go, I put it in the box like that. So when I open my box, I see it like that. I already know it's good. I never at any point have it like this, because I don't know what's in the chamber. I want to know as soon as I touch it that it's good, so I do this with it. Last thing, if you want to do some aiming exercises like I was showing you earlier, I have white walls, but you can I use tape. So I have black tape because I have white walls. So I will take tape, tear it, little squares, and I'll stick it in different places. I told you I was aiming at my keys. I normally don't do that because it's kind of far away, but I will take the tape, put it on different points in the place, and then I can practice when I'm aiming down sight. I can practice, boom, 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 pull it in, check, check, boom, pull it in, check, check, daughter, wife, everybody's good, check, check. It's important to do that. Just, you know, move around, bam, bam, bam. It's just another thing you can do at home. It's all about getting smooth. It's all about getting smooth with the firearm. And there are instructors, they can tell who practices at home and who doesn't take the gun out and use it until it's time for a qualification, and then the ones that go home and practice doing things. As you can see, mistakes have been made in this video because I'm not perfect. I'm still kind of new at this as well. But Like I said before, we're going to journey on this together, and I'll get better, and I'll make more videos where you'll see me getting smoother and faster, because I do practice at home. It's very important. And so I'll continue with another video. The next video I'm going to make is going to be a video about clearing your gun. It's going to be a very important one that you really should watch. But as far as now, that's all I got. These aren't all the world's exercises. These are just the ones that I personally do. As I said, I don't tell you nothing that I don't do. These are the ones that I do here. I'll get more and I'll get better, and you will too. So let's go on this journey together. And if you got anything you want to say, leave some comments, like and subscribe, and holla at your boy.